Yeah, Coach Walters, you've had a few hours, looked at the film again. Anything in the film that you've seen since then that strikes you that maybe that can be corrected?
Yeah, there's a lot that can be corrected. I think the disappointing thing is, you felt like the issues that we had were corrected before the game. Obviously, that was not the case. We need to take pride in the physicality of the game of football. You got to give Notre Dame credit, like they punched us in the mouth right from the opening kickoff, and we flinched. And as the head coach, I can't allow that to happen. I have to do a better job in preparing our guys for what is to be expected from that type of opponent on a game day. And I've got to do a better job of preparing us for opportunities and moments like that, because we're gonna have them all throughout the course of the year. So there were obviously a couple schematic issues, technique issues that are easily corrected. Just being disciplined with eyes, disciplined with pre-snap alignments, discipline with IDing the right. The right, formation and set that is in front of you pre-snap, and you'll get those every game, right? Like I said, that to me, the disappointing thing coming out of the game was that we physically got beat up, and I didn't see that coming, and we'll make sure that never happens again.
2 games in, Ryan, what do you think the team's identity is?
Yeah, that's what we had a very candid conversation yesterday about. I have always operated in truth to the team, not sugarcoating or gassing anybody up, just telling them what are the facts. And the fact right now is we are a 1-1 football team that has lost to a ranked non-conference opponent. But the fact also is that we lost 66-7, and we have to own the worst loss in program history, and that falls on my shoulders. That first game we executed at a high level. I don't care who you play against. We executed well. We played tough and physical. We tackled well. We made the right reads offensively. We ID'd the right fronts offensively. And we were excited and energized to play. And then the second outing, it was the opposite. And so, right now I told the team, you are both teams, and it is our decision on which team we want to be moving forward. Like I said, post game, I also can't ignore, what I've seen since January. I can't ignore what I saw in spring ball. I can't ignore what I've seen in fall camp and how I felt going into last Saturday. But we also can't turn a blind eye to what transpired for the last 4 quarters. So I'm excited as heck to get back on a practice field. I can't wait for Saturday. I embrace struggle. I embrace adversity. And this team will as well. And so I'm excited to see how we respond, and fully expect us to respond the right way.
Ryan, are there benefits to taking a road trip, especially not just the way you lost, just any loss, to get away from the noise and the things that they're going to hear, and setting a travel roster, going out and staying together in a hotel, a lot of guys who probably aren't familiar with each other to date?
Well, even at home games, we travel and stay in a hotel together, maybe there's benefits to getting out on the road. I just want to play again, and I know our guys want to play again. I love being at Ross 8. I love playing in front of our fans. I get their frustration. I'm a Laker fan, and when Lakers don't play well, I'm angry, right? And as far as like the noise and it's easy to have an opinion that is without consequence on social media. You know what I mean? So our guys got to do a good job of blocking that type of noise out. The only way you fix that and quiet that is you got to go perform well. And so I'm excited to go do that, whether it be home or away. You know, I want to go play again.
I think last season you were competitive in pretty much every game, maybe not the Ohio State game, but the losses, it seemed like they responded well. And I'm assuming you expect that to be the case. Hudson said Saturday, we can't let this affect the Oregon State game. So how do you quickly turn that and put that behind you and realize you're still a good football team?
Yeah, you know, I think Hudson's exactly right. You don't want the embarrassment and the disappointment hangover to affect how you play on Saturday. And so, you know, I think the way you get over it, and I don't know if you ever like really get over it. I think you need to wrestle with it and you need to learn from it, so that you're reminded of what will happen if you perform that way again. But to me, like the way to you know, positively move forward is you need to address it. You need to look at it through realistic lenses, and confront it. Like you need to confront the adversity head on. And I thought we did that yesterday. You know, that tape was hard to watch, and it was hard for some of the guys to take accountability of their performance. You know, it's hard to watch, you know, all three phases as a head coach, in knowing that, you know, ultimately I'm responsible for everything that transpires on game day. But in order to move forward and to get this team where we need to go, that's what you have to do, you know, from top to bottom, you know, from myself to the last guy on the roster.
Circumstances and how much pressure he was under. How big of a weapon can that be, especially when you get in these tighter ball games where you can flip the field and rely on your defense?
Yeah, I mean, it can really be an asset. You know, like you said, you flip the field, and just from a percentage standpoint, you know, it gets back into your favor on being able to keep points off the board from your opponent. You know, I do think if there was a silver lining positive from the game, usually, you know, when you have a performance like that and you have a disappointment that is that big, usually there are issues in the locker room. You know, if we would have had that type of performance a year ago, it would have took a lot to sort of galvanize the troops and regroup. And on purpose, I paid attention to what was being said and how people were acting on the sideline. You know, hung around the locker room a little bit longer than normal. And this team is together. Like, this team is tight knit. This team is they believe in each other, and they're ready to move forward. And so we got a choice right now. We can, on Saturday, we can either be 2-1 or we can be 1-2, and that's the reality of where we're at.
Talked about getting punched in the mouth early, and needing to fix it. Just how do you go about fixing that aspect, at least? Yeah,
I think you draw back on lessons learned, right? You know, we just saw what happens when you get punched in the mouth and you flinch. So moving forward, if that happens, especially early, we got to punch back, and we got to embrace the challenge, embrace the physicality, and embrace the urgency with which we need to execute in order to climb back and get momentum back. You know, I thought, you know, one of the reasons that it kept faltering is just we weren't playing complementary football. You know, defensively we couldn't get a stop on third downs, and then offensively we were off the field fast, and so that is not a recipe for success. And so, you know, we'll address that and be better moving forward.
And then just on the injury front, obviously CJ and Nyland aren't on the depth chart. Any early indication on those guys, and then any status update on George Burton, who was out on Saturday?
Yeah, so, you know, George is recovering. Obviously, CJ and George are now recovering from some hamstring issues. You know, Nyland is very close. He's running on the grass now, and it's just a matter of when he can get back to moving like himself. And so, you know, I wouldn't even rule this week out yet. And so, you know, we're eager and excited to get him back. You know, CJ is feeling good. He's working his butt off, and you know, when he's ready, you know, he'll be out there.
You talked when you took this job